What is going on here?
I don't even know.
So Katt Williams.
Everything that he said, I said was true.
Including how Puff Daddy wants to do people in the butt?
I mean,
well,
everything.
I don't know if it had to do with the movie specifically. Right. He could only speak on, his...
Right, I get that.
I'm telling you, man.
Hey, fam. Welcome back to yet another episode of I'm Telling You.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, there was more conviction. There's more to you. I was going to say there was more conviction, but you lost me on the third one. But, that's all right.
I'm telling you.
But I'm Philly D.
I'm telling you.
Somebody hit him. He's stuck.
Oh, can we do that again? I'm sorry.
Which part?
No, just you and,
Oh.
I want it to flow a little better than that, but.
Oh, what? I'm Philly D.
Mr. Gemini.
Look, I got to go back to missjd.
Just going to pull that one back. Is that what's happening over here?
That's what's happening right here. Right now.
That's right. That's right.
Right meow.
Right meow. Oh, that is right meow. That is for sure. But, we got tequila tonight. Oh, dude, this is the nectar of gods. Yeah, Patron, Anejo. Not that you guys have to sponsor us, but, you can totally sponsor us.
I mean, it
will be welcomed.
Well, we will work for tequila. Just saying. We're easy people. I'm not made of stone.
I wouldn't say no.
Hell yeah, dude. Like for real, dude. Patron hit us up and was just like, "Hey, we'll drink it. We'll talk it up. Whatever you want."
As a general rule, you should never say no to free anything.
I was a Patron
alcohol
model.
A Patron model. You paused on that. Were you? What other word were we thinking of? You like shot girl model or just like model? Let's be honest.
I was gonna say runway, but I just left it there.
Now, are there different ways or maybe traditional ways to drink tequila?
I mean, other than just the like stories of how it was.
You drink it morning, noon, and night.
Dude, we just started drinking tequila, man. I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like, there's still quite a bit left in the bottle.
So really, I mean, what are we here to talk about tonight? What are you feeling lately? I mean,
well, we had agreed upon doing homework again, which we don't. We give each other assignments without it being like homework. You know what I mean? Because like we talk about stuff.
Well, just normally, like this is totally me. I need you to check this out because this is totally me. Sometimes it's just that and that simple.
Well, I mean, if anything, I guess at this moment, what I'm trying to express to the audience is that like we don't. Pre-planning to us is not like a part of what we do.
Just call think about this for the next week.
Well, and so that's why I said, so there's occasions where we give each other assignments in the sense because one or two of us have seen or heard or read or, like done something to gain some knowledge and we're attempting to share with each other. And then, from there, it's whether we talk about it or we all grow from it or, who knows what, but we just do that. So on occasion when we feel, I don't want to say obligated, but like, no, I guess that's because this is what we're here for, right? Like we're here to have the harder conversations that some people don't want to have. So we don't typically pre-plan stuff because we just want to be off the cuff. And because to us, this is all about, if anybody popped in, this is what it is. Like, this is literally just being a fly on the wall, listening to people, have a conversation and seeing where it goes. And it's like crazy how it comes full circle a lot of the times for us, but
I still don't know what's happening.
Wait, what happened? I blacked out.
Like you just, the one day you just came to me was like, dude, we just start recording our silly, crazy rants. Like, why not? That's just me.
But I digress.
Yeah. Where were we? So yeah, you were saying.
Well, you had asked me a question.
I had asked you a question about
if there was something that was
on your mind rolling around and
for us to talk about.
We had some homework, yada yada yada.
Yeah. You don't fucking yada 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 over that. That's the best part. Well, But yeah,
I see what you did there.
Basically, we watched some shit and
well, yeah, but I mean, I was it's the anejo, man. It's a good tequila, literally good.
Digressing still, sorry.
It's what we also do. So, it would not be us if we had not. We wouldn't.
So to get to the point of the problem.
So yeah, no. As I was explaining to the people at home, we don't pre-plan conversations. However, there are certain times things happen, and with what we're doing here with all of this, I feel as though we're obligated to have a discussion about it because it would be a disservice to our people if we didn't.
Service to us first.
Well, but we have had.
It's actually a really interesting topic.
I think it's a great topic. But it's also one of those things where it's like this is what we do. Like we send each other stuff, we watch them, we read them, we talk about them. Like this
is just all a matter of personal interest.
Dude, really, like we would legit do this regardless.
We would be sitting here talking to each other about this weird shit.
Dude, there's nights when we've done this. We're just like, we're not even going to record tonight. Let's just keep talking. Let's talk it out, people.
So much good material is lost because
oh my God.
So much good material because it's just too much to set it up all the time. And then it takes space every time you take a recording. I mean, we ran around with the idea for a little while about
24/7. Fucking A, right.
That's just who wants to watch. That's kind of
they're not going to watch all. It's not the Truman Show. You know what I mean?
It's just like you're showering, you just kind of like bleep out.
This is your life.
It's going to be a big bleep.
I'm just saying.
Throw the middle. Get out of here. That's fucking.
And you edit it intentionally so the bleep is actually flopping around.
I was talking about this as the bleep, my middle finger. And wow. I appreciate you though, bro. I mean, that's,
You weren't. You weren't.
What do you think this was? I hate it when it does that.
That was your cover up. That's what that was. I know.
Well, this one's for you and this one's for your horse. But I digress. Oh. So global warming. But no. Yeah. So for real. Long story short. Yeah. While we don't pre-plan conversations, you can't. We can't do scripted. This would be the worst scripted show ever. Dude,
I would not want that job.
Neither would I.
We just happened to watch a video and we all happened to watch
Suddenly
it.
we're experts.
I just love how she's like, it sounds like you're talking about Two Girls, One Cup right now. Bro, the way you're leading in, you're like, so we watched this video. My God, are they about to share? Are we in the tree of trust right now?
More entertaining. But it happens to be on a topic that we all enjoy. So we started talking about it. We decided we would share the conversation with you guys instead.
What would you describe this topic as? Limited to, but not. Sorry.
Well, the homework. Get back to the homework, right? Exactly what it was.
Well, I think we watched the video. She's right. You can tell. She's right there. You don't have to. I don't understand. But we did homework. What video did we watch?
Exactly. Exactly what?
Dun, dun, dun.
It was Katt Williams' interview on Shay.
Club Shay Shay.
Shay Shay?
Shay Shay.
Yeah, Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay.
Where they be drinking cognac and spilling secrets and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So now he has his own brand of cognac at that club. I guess. Shay.
Right. Yeah.
I forget it.
This is a look of, yes, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what they were drinking during the entire conversation, which actually was really funny because it punctuated it very well.
Meaning
it got brought up in a conversation a couple times because it was like, oh man, I don't know, I think I need to cut you off, and like there was this whole back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, right.
Them actually pouring shots for each other, and
you'd be like, I'm gonna just top you off. You just I'll help you out.
Well,
you need this.
At first, he thought Katt was going off because of he was already intoxicated, but it was like,
it's like you've had more than I have.
I've only had 2 sips. I've had way less than you.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I don't know if for that show, if they have like green room kind of shit where, you know, like what we do, where when we have our, especially when we have our in studio guests, is we all, you know, relax and talk and eat and just have a really awesome pre-conversation. So I don't know how
he might already have a full warm up drink before he goes on
that's
air.
yeah. So that's,
Possible.
I mean, who
Or
knows?
particular to that night, because he knew he was going to be having a sit down, sipping cognac. I don't know. It was just a warm up for the. I don't know why you need to, but
Well, you got to tailgate.
Out,
yeah, tailgating, man. You're just, you know,
you're just
easing into this.
it's a quick like I'm gonna have a snack, like maybe a cheese board or something, and a cognac, cigar,
Just, you gotta, you know.
bong and a blunt.
Wow. Oh, dude, there's all like 6 of the other ones just flashing my brain. I can't say any of them right now. You got me. You got me. But see, and that's
Anyhow, this is where we can have a serious conversation. All right.
dude, why was it? Dude, there was nothing that was ever. There was no preface of
No, there was no said seriousness.
or
There's a
severity
disclaimer.
or disclaimeria on the sincerity. Sincerely, but bump.
I'm sorry, you were saying something. I thought. But
I might have. I don't know. Tequila.
so we've all watched this video. Global warming. What's going on?
We're both still on our first tequila.
So
This is
anyway.
hilarious.
So anyway, there was a lot of talk about
There's a lot of talk about a lot of things.
there was a lot of talk about some shady stuff going on in the industry of comedy. I think that was one
And Hollywood.
and Hollywood.
And the music industry.
It's pretty much.
I would say public.
Lies that were exposed.
Well, yeah, the
truth
public
that was
media.
exposed.
Yeah, those who are in the public eye. So like public figure. So it's cross many genres, occupations.
Just going down a list of takeaways from this particular interview, though. Like that's the best place to start, I think.
Well, if that's where you want to do, by all means, the floor is yours.
So, well, what was your first?
Oh, I thought you were gonna. Please,
Well,
by
no,
all
I mean,
means.
you were the first one that used the word takeaway in our conversation, but right before we turned the mics on. So, like, you kind of had a couple in mind that
Do you have proof of this, good sir?
you inferred, I think.
Oh, well, it's not the same thing.
Are we in court right now? I'm sorry. What's going
I
on?
can neither confirm nor deny that at this point in time.
See, and there's the disclaimer.
No, that's Oliver North. If you, those of you who are old as like us, where they get that shit.
That is also true.
That is a truth fact, good sir. No, me personally, I want to hear both of yours takeaways before.
You start delving into yours. You want to be last? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not that I want to be. It's just because the two of you watched it before I did. I'm more curious to have your take on it because I had already had some conversations with the two of you. And so I wasn't discovering a lot of what was being said as like firsthand knowledge for the first time, in a sense. Like so you all had a raw, you all had a raw, yeah, RAWER, raw, not raw. No, you all had a raw ingestion of the material. So you know what I mean? Like you didn't have any precursors or any kind of connotations built around it. So you all had a.
And honestly, I didn't realize how much stuff he had been involved with until I started listening to him talk. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, he's definitely got some clout, but I didn't realize a lot of things. I didn't realize he was pretty much supporting himself so that he wouldn't get involved with basically the corruption on that level where it's starting to change your content and stuff like that, because he wasn't all about that. And there was a couple other things where it really got extremely questionable why certain things, certain acts, certain ways of dressing would even come up in his script. And he's like, I like the script, but I'm not doing that. Like he had certain moral objections.
Oh, the rape scene specifically, or
Well, there was a couple instances like that where he's like, I'm not going to do that.
wearing a dress.
wearing a dress.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence asked him to wear a dress. Yeah, he wanted to do Big Mama's House 2 or some shit.
And none of that gay shit. Like, I don't believe in that. I'm not going to put that out there. I'm not going to represent
There was multiple points on it, really.
But I mean, that's what I saw from it, was that there was a definite moral compass.
But if you noticed,
he's like, I don't care about the money.
When he was trying to seek revenge or something, he was trying to put somebody else in that position. So it's like,
it's like what?
I could see myself doing something like that, though. You know, like, fuck it. You want to work with me again? This is what you got to do. Because it's like, look, and what did he say? Because the only character that you can play that's believable is a female. And that's a shame. That's like terrible to say, but it's like, you can't wrong him. Like, he's being honest. That's his opinion.
Agreed.
Of the situation and how he was affected by it. So it's like, what can you say about that? You know, that's very much the way he saw that, you know.
Well, agree. No, you're
like, anybody who's willing to do that once and wants to draw me into it, you can do that forever as far as I'm concerned. But it ain't going to be me.
Well, there were several points.
So I can see why, like, in another life, I would have done the same thing. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but there was a couple of points onto it as why. One, he was trying to make sure that he promoted a proper example as a strong black male,
just for it to be positive in general.
Well, as well as, and and specifically to the rape scene aspect, was he's like, that's not funny for anybody.
It's not funny.
So it's not funny.
It's just not funny.
Well, and agreed. So I mean, but
and for you to laugh at it, it's like, that's even worse. Like,
well, so yeah, and that's why, like,
there's nothing funny about that. Like, we shouldn't normalize that to the point where we try to make it a joke. And that's where I realized, okay, this guy stands for something that I don't know that, like, and I'm sure to hear him talk, he'll give you an entire list.
Yeah, well, but let's keep in mind that there was an individual that had a psychiatrist on set to make sure that nothing was ever promoted to have negativity of black males specifically and black people across the board. And that dude was raping chicks. Just saying. I'm not going to name names. We all know who he is.
I mean, for real though. I mean, that's trippy shit.
But so again, the fact that he puts it on point for that, I mean, that to me doesn't necessarily make him a good person. But the fact that he sticks to his guns, I appreciate and respect that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's not like I'm saying the guy's a saint.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not saying that either.
But he's a master of his craft.
Agreed.
And if he wants, if he seems or he comes off a bit boastful, ain't nothing wrong with that. Like,
dude, I talk myself up all day long, man. I'm my biggest fan.
It's not against the rules, and I think he does it in a respectful enough way, because you realize once you start listening to him, especially in this interview, which is why I said to you, I said, this is a must see, even if you don't know who the guy is.
Yeah, because he's humble yet cocky.
You mean if I didn't know,
knowing what he knows
his limits of being human. But
exactly.
Like, he's like,
but he is a very humble human, but he knows that he's good at what he does because he put the work in and he spent the time crafting it.
Right. And he writes. Like, that's what he's like. He's more like what you might call like a prolific, writer when it comes to comedy. Like, I want to continue to produce output. I don't want to keep recycling the same, like do a whole, cross-country tour doing the same 2-hour set,
Well, yeah, one of the things he said is, if I come to your town year after year and you come and see me show after show, it will be a new show every time. I'm not going to bring back the same material. He's like, I will not do it.
Not do the same thing twice.
He will not do it.
In the same spot.
Yeah, not to say he won't reuse jokes, but he's just like, I know, I'm going to bring an all new set to you. I'm not going to bring you the shit from last year. I'm going to bring you this year. And he's like, that's just a respect thing. If you're going to be my fan, I'm not going to just keep reproducing the same shit. He's like, I'm going to keep giving you new stuff.
Because who cares? It'll still sell tickets, And a lot of guys do that. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they get in the autopilot and just cruise and just make their money, man. Run the circuit, as they would say. Like, And
I think mostly it's because he just can't turn it off.
he very much says this is who he is.
And I think it's easy to get into that. It's almost like a self-defense mechanism. It's like as life throws you shit, you try to see the comedy in it.
I get that.
You know? Because there is something to that. Like comedy has this raw side. We've talked about it many a time. The comedy has this dark side because it usually focuses on some pain point. But you see a twist, and that's what makes it funny. You know? So it's something that's here, but you're kind of like, okay.
Well, that's why, I mean,
you can laugh now. It's okay. It's funny.
yeah, it's the old saying, like, well, not old saying, but the adage that I've brought up several times is every good joke has a little bit of a truth and a little bit of honesty. You know, it's like, or not, well, because pain. Sorry.
Pain and truth. Yeah.
Yeah. Pain.
Every
truth,
joke is
honesty, and
10% true or something.
Well, but and I always equate it to that's the again, you know.
Pain.
Well, but you know, the truth is admitting something that you wouldn't normally do, like, you know, hey, I got caught jerking off by my mom. But then when you go, I got caught jerking off by my mom again, that's the pain, because you're just like, oh God, you didn't learn to lock the door or like put a sock or either you come on, buddy.
I don't know what bothers me more, the fact that it happened or the fact that you have a name for it.
I do. Gluten tagging. I'm just saying.
How many can we roll in? And that's a personal one though too.
Well, you know, that's what we do here.
Gluten tag.
But yeah, no, going back
Only
to
for the true fans do you know about gluten tag.
All right. No, but going
Has a
correct.
special place in our hearts.
My phone's freaking autocorrect. I think it was just having a brain fart that day. I don't know what that was. It autocorrected to gluten tag.
Autocorrect.
Can we stay on task, people? For what? No, we can't.
This is how it
But
goes.
no, going back to what you were saying about like the different positions and stuff. So it's like why he was where he's just like, this is my moral compass. There's these things I won't do. I agree with, you know, like I had said, I love the fact that this is who I am and I'm going to stick to it. The thing that, you know, me personally, that I was just like taken aback by was, you know, going to like, you made the dress comments where he's like, that's the only good roles you could play. So to me, you know, while he's being honest and sharing his feelings, that's the part.
A bit of a vindictive side to him.
Well, and you can, I mean,
you can't like, I don't know. You can, but.
Well, if you want, I mean, so you can call it vindictive, but I would.
Part of the cocky side. It's like,
so
you're
know,
gonna
whether
shove it in my face. Here you go.
Well, so whether that's a tit for tat or he's playing his character or whatever he's doing in a sense. You know, and again, this is just me personally because you and I.
Oh,
you know,
and that's the thing too. These are jokes.
Well,
yeah.
But even when you and I joke, when those kind of things, we find ourselves being as respectful or positive as possible. So even though we're talking shit on each other, there's certain things like we just don't cross those lines where it's like, now that's a dig. Like that shit was meant to have.
Everybody with their good friend has had that moment where it's like, yo, bro, I'm sorry. Did I go too deep there? I'm sorry.
Your mom's lovely. I swear to God, I love her.
I really didn't mean it.
Oh, too soon. But
especially
so yeah,
when you
that
talk about their current girlfriend or whatever, and it's like, yo, man, I didn't mean it. It's like, no, yeah, you did, but it's cool. No, I really appreciate that. Like that's a moment right there. You know what I'm saying?
I've had a
like you're my boy. Like that. She's no. I mean, I hate to say it, but she's no good for you. Like nobody wants to hear that. That's rough news. You know.
See, you and I had a relative style of that conversation like after the fact. But
that's like if that's really your bro, like that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, man.
You know, unwritten rules, right?
Well, and so I mean, and so me personally, with all of everything, because there's a lot of stuff that he
shovel buddy.
I'll be your shovel buddy.
I'll be your huckleberry.
Yeah. With the big spoon or the little spoon?
Depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Both.
Just what?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, if I don't want to cheat, then I'm going to be the little spoon. That's just a given. So, but it is like, how do I feel that day?
That is how the rule works. I mean, I don't make these rules up. I'm just saying that's how it works.
But out of all of the stuff, you know, focus. I am. Out of all of the stuff that he talks about, the good things that he really does do, and there's a shit ton of them. The fact that the only real negative I feel I can say about him as an individual is the fact of there was a few times where me personally, again, went a little too far. It's like, dude, you know what? Disagree with them, call them out on their shit. Like, you know, I get all of that. We're all good there. When you cross that line and make a statement that promotes a certain position, connotation, stigma, any of that, if there's any kind of, if your words aren't picking them up, they're probably putting them down, kind of a thing. And so,
impeccable.
And he's not being impeccable. He's being emotional.
Right. And that's kind of what I said too, though, is remember, these are jokes.
Well, there was plenty of jokes, but there was plenty of statements where it's
the hard
like,
thing about it. Like, where is that line? Is that line in the same place for everybody? You know,
that's
like,
why I felt like there was.
How far do you have to stay to make a safe that's still funny? Like, otherwise, it's, you know, like there's a line that you have to find. Like, you have to stay near it and not go over it.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm like
which changes from crowd to crowd.
It does, but. And I like the fact that you said impeccable. When he went from making impeccable statements to emotionally driven statements, I felt as though that was very much a personal position. The way he presented it, it sounded very.
There was almost
there was onus behind it.
There was a different tone behind it.
So I didn't see it so much as a joke.
When he invokes the name of God during that period, totally different.
Tone, tempo,
yeah,
cadence, all of it, yeah.
When he's kind of on a rant and waxing more personal, I think that's when it is. It's like a whole different. It's not really noticeable as a different mode of speech, but
I mean, we noticed
there's a different. Well, there's a different frequency. Tone is the words you're using. Like, you know, these are the things that control everything.
Oh, agreed.
Whether you believe that or not, like, you know,
you don't have to.
Frequency, vibration,
energy.
Did anybody else pick up on the fact that he said it was between him and Pharrell for the Illuminati?
That was to just come out and say that. Like, should we be worried? Like, is he gonna just disappear?
Well, if he does, then we know it's true.
Well, girl, you know it's true.
But dude, but it's the same shit as like, what's the same shit as this is what Dr. Stephen Greer does. He's like, the quicker we can actually get this information out, the quicker my life is safer. Because it's like, well, it's already out there. Now what? If you get rid of me now, it just proves all of what I said right. You're an instant martyr.
Yeah, and there's few people that be willing to do that. Now, for him, it's worked out because he's made a career on being that guy that speaks out against, you know.
Not just for him, for other people too, if he sees an injustice. So like when he was speaking about.
But stuff that he was literally there to experience.
And the deal, yeah. And the deal that like Dave Chappelle got, he was speaking about how that was wrong and how people don't understand how things are behind the scenes. But if you notice when he talks, he's like, and so it is written, or, and then it is so, or it is spoken and then it is so. He kept saying the same reference, but it's like it's a biblical, but it's also like a Masonic.
It's a spell.
Lodge thing. Yeah, it's like the phrase is like, it's either biblical or Masonic. Where
there's a thing about words, and I don't know if you've heard this before, but there's a reason why it's called spelling. When you use certain words on people in general, like the formation of a good phrase or a group of words, spelling, and witchcraft, spelling, casting a spell, spelling. The derivation of that word comes from the same place.
We've had this conversation before. She looks like this is like new to her. It's like, dude, we've talked about this before.
About casting a spell. So
no, I know, but you can have the same conversation 5 times, but depending on where you are in your life, certain points hit more than others.
Agreed, but
differently.
So what he's saying is you're attempting to, at every different, like you said, 5 different points, at every one of those points, you're attempting to express your same statement, or as you said, the discussion, same exact manner of, whatever it is, but it's this time it's this one or this one or this one. There's a different influence because of that, but it's still the same shit. It's the same shit.
I mean yeah.
Patron, sponsor us.
Patron me.
Patron me.
Na 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 na.
I just.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Sorry.
Keep going. You take whatever you need, bro. We got more on the side, man. I'm just saying, man. We got some reposado and some silver, and you finish the bottle, bro.
I also didn't realize.
Take all that you need, but eat all that you take, right?
So,
I knew he was a good talker and he could like speak the game, and he also seemed
genuine
to a level of intellectual, but until I watched that interview, I didn't know how freaking smart he really
makes
is.
references through that whole conversation that kind of go over like
and his vocabulary is
like Shay didn't keep up with everything that he was throwing reference
Putting
at
down.
like because I caught that too. There was a couple, and I don't know specifically, but it seemed to me there was quite a few times where he was speaking over the matter in such a way, like you were saying, almost in code, like in this casting a spell thing.
Well, see, and this is one of the things I did really enjoy about him is, and this is personal to me, just like whenever we get into like a really deep, whether it's philosophical or very emotional, personal, or, if we get to a level where I'm attempting to be as impeccable or succinct with my expression, you would say or do something and I would do the same thing as him, where you can see, the way he stares off, that it's like, I'm collecting my thoughts right now. I'm going to attempt to be as impeccable and succinct as possible. I'm going to be as honest in my word and expression, which is why I'm like, dude, for the most part, that's pretty much all he did. So when there was those pieces where all of a sudden he just said some shit, it's just like, all right, you lost me on that one, big guy. But that's just, me personally.
What is it? If you look up to the right, it means one thing. If you look up to the left, it means another. One is accessing the imaginative side of your brain. The other one's accessing
the logic or the stored history. Yeah. So one side is, you're looking to your files. The other side is how do I explain this? You're attempting to lie at that point.
Just by following the eyes.
Well, but there's also if they look up or down, or so there's a lot to all of that. But it also goes with overall body language as well, and
micro expressions. Like, you ever catch somebody by surprise, like in a crowd, and you see like their initial face when they go to turn around, like after they realize that it's you, but they haven't fully turned around yet. Like that's their true expression, and then they put the mask on when they finally turn around and face you. So that's like a little trick you can do, apparently. But
speaking of body language, one of the things I noticed throughout pretty much the entire interview is Katt was constantly, which in psychology we call the self-touch. And there were certain points where he was not doing that whatsoever. But there was plenty of places, especially with the things he was expressing. There was... To me, I almost took it as him being on set doing this kind of a situation because he's being as raw and honest as he can be, that it's kind of like,
I'll tell you what I got.
It's a scary spot to be in a sense.
I'll tell you what I got from that, because I know what you're speaking of. I think what I got from that was that there were a lot of things, not that it was like premeditated per se, but I think there were a lot of things that were on his mind that he really wanted to get out there. And I think in some ways it's difficult. Like, is it difficult speaking in front of millions of people? Not on a podcast. The idea was he does that on stage all the time, but what he was doing there was something completely different.
Agreed.
And I think maybe that was just the way I took it was more like excess energy. Like when you tap your foot, like it's not like you're unsure of yourself. It's just like
no. I took it more as
it's like an anxious tick.
That's why I say it was more
It
of
also
soothing.
keeps you present.
A soothing,
in the moment.
Yeah, because he was dealing with a very difficult situation.
Well, you notice too, there was times,
And he was
where
agitated because he wanted the truth to get out.
he was intentionally keeping his ghetto side down. Because there's times when like he was asked a question and he go, and you're like, how do I word this?
but that's why I was saying
what I really appreciate about him, because it's like those are the little things, and it's not that little. Like when you're
He
actually
took a moment in the pause.
so like what he's going to say next, it like adds more credence to whatever he's going to say next. So it's like, and it's almost like he was trying to hold himself back. Like, okay, I don't want to be hurtful here, but how do I say this?
So he took a moment to reflect in the pause, but he responded versus reacting.
Right.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
So there was a lot of little things about the interview
That takes a lot of restraint.
that told me a lot about him as a person.
Agreed.
Because that's what I was saying. Kind of though, there was a few moments in that interview where it was like he was asked a question, and it was almost like you saw he was ready to just throw the ghetto answer out there, like, "Hey, I'm doing my shtick," but he kind of and okay, let me give you the understand that I'm an intelligible person. I've been reading books since I was a kid.
Well, plus I also think he came in with
I studied this because I was fascinated by it.
But I think it's because he came in to the interview with the position of I'm here to set the record straight.
There was a lot right at the beginning, like
so there was many occasions, like you're saying, where it's just like he was about to just react, and instead he's just like, allow me to respond.
Yeah.
So I think, a lot of that. So that's why I found.
And yes, some of it was very ego driven, but you would expect that from a performer. Like this is what he does.
Again,
I'm a human,
but I'm just saying from that aspect of
entertainer, you typically ham it up.
You're
more.
always trying to flip it to how do I turn this into a joke? How do I laugh this off? It's just
yuck it up.
You can't turn that off. That's my assumption, is that when you get that routine at it, you don't really turn that off.
I mean,
if you're in the public eye. Once you're not in the public eye, that's a whole different, it's off.
I mean, how do you stop being a rainbow?
You're not in the sunlight.
Does a butterfly not fly anymore?
I mean,
way to ruin my analogy.
That's exactly it, dude. You can't have a rainbow without sunlight.
Are you gonna explain posse attraction to me now too?
I might. No, I cannot.
Tell me it's not magic.
Not well.
To you, it is. It's unexplainable technology. Damn it, it's magic. They got me.
Indistinguishable from magic. Is that?
I mean, it goes this way and then it goes this. How does it do that? Just saying.
Advanced technology will be.
It's called gears.
Indistinguishable. Shut up, dude.
Oh,
I'm not stupid,
Is it my grandparents? What are they doing in there? Sorry. Oh,
they're catatonic.
Do they look like they're having fun being catatonic in a closet? But I digress.
This is all digression.
Gee, this is Tangent City, man. That's what we do here. But yeah, no, it's just like JD was saying, the fact that he's willing to restrain, and with the point I was making where it seemed that everything he had, the focus was, I'm intent on airing all of these grievances.
Well, and
I'm setting the records, That
was the balancing act too, because it's like, yeah, I got to hold back in some ways, but in other ways, the truth has to come out. And if I can make it funny in the process, so be it. Well, and I think that's just like, it comes natural to him. I think, like I was saying, maybe this was a protective device that he developed. A defense mechanism that he built at an early age, because that's what fascinated me about his story.
Oh, you mean as a comedian? As
an individual, as a human being.
You're making humor of...
He left his homestead at like 13.
Yep.
And went to a whole different state across the country.
Dude, he went to a whole nother part of the country.
Right.
Dude, that's just like a whole nother world
on his own,
down there.
No family there, nothing.
Ohio to Florida, I think.
So like right there, it's like this guy was dedicated. And I know so much more about him just from this. That's why I said this is probably like one of the best hands down interviews I've ever seen. and every part of it was interesting. Like there's so much of that you could do like 1 minute little snippets of that are like gems, you know.
Dude, one of my favorite things.
I've seen a bunch already. So.
One of my favorite things was, so he goes to ask him the question. He's like, so there's some comedians that have told this story of how these nameless women that they do not know just show up and hand them a very large sum of money. Have you heard any of these stories? And he goes, and he doesn't even answer that question. He goes into the whole spiel about how he's just like, you know, I'm gonna be honest, man. He's like, I prefer a woman working for me over a man, and it's nothing against the man, because I mean, to me, and he goes into this whole spiel about it.
Well, he didn't not answer the question.
Well, no, correct, but so he first goes into this whole spiel about how he prefers women to do the jobs that he's asking for. And then he finishes it off with, and he's just like, and you know what? There's plenty of great young
he
comedians.
said he prefers to be surrounded by women.
Well, there's
the
that
sound
too.
of their voice,
that was where he was talking about his staff.
the way they smell.
Correct.
It's
It's more
just a
like
lot nicer to have
75%.
an office.
Well, yeah, but that his staff is who he's sending to give these, you know, comics this money.
This is top heavy, if you will, in women.
Well, but you know what? I agree with him on many levels.
he
I
said-
just smell the breath of a woman.
Well,
No, he said also, if a guy walks up to you and gives you like compliments and hands you an envelope, it's like a different reaction than like if a woman compliments you. And so that's why he said, he's like, nobody wants to hear it from a man. They want to hear it from a woman.
Yeah, I mean, he even said, he's like, the women, especially for the things that I'm asking them to do, are going to be, he's like, I'm going to trust this job to them more. He's like, it just, this is, I'm gonna feel comfortable with this. You know, but same thing. It was just, you know, I'd rather hear two women talking over in the corner than two dudes over in the corner.
Mm.
You know, but yeah, I love how he would never answer a question. He'd tell you a story and then answer the question. That's like some Oogway shit.
I really like, I mean, whatever you want to say about it, like his fiery side, like you were saying, the part, it's like, did you really need to go that far? Well, maybe I did, just because it's me.
Well, but maybe it made him feel better, and that was his spot that he had to do. Cool. Well, it's just not for me. So
you
it's
look
like,
at this guy, because like,
so I said personally.
How tall is he? Did you actually look? Did anybody actually look that up?
Dude, I am not the fact checker around
but
here.
I mean, he's not a real tall guy in physical stature, but like, man, like he's nothing but heart. Like, dude's, his heart's like huge. Like the whole idea about him tithing when he does a show.
5'5".
See, that's not that short.
It's below
He's taller
average.
than Kevin Hart.
Well, that's easy. He's way taller in my book. After watching that, that's what I'll say. Bro.
Dude, that shit got me. He's taller than Kevin Hart.
Well, that's not really a high mark.
Sorry, Kevin. If you're listening, sorry, Kevin. I know it's a sore spot.
I do. I mean, yeah, whatever.
And physical height's not everything. You know? It's not.
I'm not going to respond to that statement. But see, this is you know, going to something like you were saying. This is why I feel like the self-touch was a lot more about soothing, you know, not only because of the situation he was in, you know, setting the record straight and trying to stay as close to that as possible without being personable. You know, I think like maybe he was constantly doing that to keep the ghetto at bay, where it's just like, you know, motherfucking yeah,
just soothing it. Because like you could see it was still there. Like there were times where it started and he was like, okay. And he's really interesting to watch because like it doesn't really, like you were saying, it doesn't take very long to realize this guy's actually a well-read dude.
Very well read.
You know, and it's surprising. When it's like why? Because I'm black? No,
well, no. He gave
surprising in general.
Stat where he said across a certain amount of time, he like 3 years, like 3,000. Dude, he basically read like 2 books a day for a couple of years straight.
That's nuts, bro.
That's crazy. But he's like, dude, what did I do? He's like, I slept in a fucking park and went to the library all day.
And I also like how he said how he's never done hard drugs.
Well, that's because that leads to losing everything you love and sucking penis. Just saying.
That was the realization he came to.
Yeah, because he literally talked to every single person that was in that situation that he was living on the streets with, and he would ask them how they ended up there.
Talk about
and every single one had a story of where they made a decision and they lost everything, and it all had to do with
hard drugs.
Usually, yeah. So I think that's a really, I guess,
don't do drugs, kids.
Not a nice way to like find out how drugs ruin your life, but like without having to try it and like
a healthy escape. Yourself. How about that? Find a healthy escape. One that allows you to live another day.
Well, I think he said if it wasn't nicotine or marijuana, he's like, you're not going to see it around. Like, it's just, and obviously alcohol too. He didn't say it at that point, but he was talking about, drugs in a sense. So he's like, dude, nicotine and, weed is the only thing that's going to be in me.
There was nothing other than the outspokenness. There was nothing about him that I didn't totally mesh with. That I didn't totally agree with. There was very little, and any of it that I might sway a little bit is more on the side of opinion and his ego strokes. But
again, that was my pain point on it too. So I get that.
But whether that's a pain point or not, because I bounce that right back off. Don't forget, his main thing is comedy. So it's like, I'm not saying this to be a dick. I'm saying it because it's true. But if I say it this way, it's funny because honestly, there is a funny aspect to everything.
Of course. Well, except not rape. Not rape. Rape's not funny. Rape is not funny.
Rape is never funny.
Tell the people at home that shit. Don't. It's. But dude, again, that's
kind of like dead silent.
Crickets. No, but dude, then that again.
Point, yeah.
But no, again, that was my only qualm as well, was that it's like you just made it personal. Like you just said some shit and you meant a certain thing by it. For him to be that intelligent, experienced, enlightened, as it seems, that capable to be patient and restrained to the degree that he is, and yet still say some shit, it's just like, dude, no, you meant to say that, and that was an intentional dig.
That's why I said it was a banging interview, because
he's also human.
If nothing else,
agreed.
It felt refreshing.
That's why I'm not like shaming him for it. I'm just like, me personally,
and informative, and like there was a lot about that interview that was just like blew. I had
and
somebody
what single male adopts 6 children? Like
7? I think it was 7. Because he has 10.
He has 7.
No,
he has 1
10.
biologically. No. I researched it. I thought he said he had 10, but
that's what I thought. I thought it was 7 adopted 7. And 3 that were.
Double check that.
Everything I read says it's 7.
Well, dude, long story short, is he adopts a bunch of kids.
Oh, sorry.
No, I think it's very commendable that he's single, but at the same time, he is raising not just like 1 or 2 children that aren't his, but don't even belong to like a girlfriend, a spouse, or anything else. Like he took that in on his own. And yes, he does say that he does have female employees living in the house that also like help him manage stuff.
So I'm hold on. I'm pretty sure he didn't state that it was staff. He expressed that he keeps several women around him at all times, several of which live with him, and he basically left it at that.
Roommates. He didn't really go into it any further than that.
He just stated that there are women that are always around him. And so several of them actually live in the same house.
He may or may not have sexual relations.
Well, it was alluding of, he's just like, hey, I mean, and it's just kind of like, well, if it happens, it's not like
it would not surprise me in the least.
If they smoked marijuana cigarettes, pretty much. But yeah, well, I mean, I like his points on why he did that. Because, I mean, one of them was, he's like, I'm not saying that there is a God, but if there actually is, I feel like if I'm over here doing all of this probably going to look at me in a very good favor. You know, as well as he's like, dude, I was homeless. He's like, I lived in a freaking park. Like, he's like, I know what that's like, as well as I know what it is to run away from my home, because it's not that I'm unhappy. It's just that I'm intelligent enough to realize this shit ain't going to work. So he's like, why wouldn't I help those individuals out? Because he's like, dude, I would have loved to have had that when I was 13 and doing that shit. He's like, I'm in a position to do it. Why wouldn't I?
I love the whole bit too. You're making me think that the whole bit too about, like, I want to make sure I have a bunch of comedians in my roster that are funnier than me. Like, that's my role. That's my job. Like, I'm not going to sit here and try to put myself on a pedestal by getting a bunch of hacks to be on my comedy show so I can be the one hot chick among all the freaking...
You do. I mean, pretty good. Do you know the cheerleader effect, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, surround yourself with shit. All of a sudden, you look like a debutante.
But he wants to raise himself up by helping raise other people up. So that's awesome right there. I mean, that was one of the big takeaways for me as well. There was a lot of things about him, like I was saying more than anything, like things about his character that I never would have, like, why would I even think about, like, who's Katt, you know? But before being shown this interview, I wasn't like a huge fan. Like, I was aware of him, but like this put him on a whole nother level for me. And it was a lot of the things about moral compass. Whether you agree with everything that was said and how it was said during the interview is a whole nother thing. But still, to be in that profession and have certain boundaries that you're not willing to break, I have mad respect for that.
Oh.
You can say something, JD?
Well, there's mixed sources. It says that he has 8 kids, and then it says he has 10 kids. But everything says he adopted 7.
But that's what's
and
going
he had 1 biological. But now I'm just trying to find out if those extra 2 are real or not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was recalling from, I thought he had 10. It was 7 adopted, 3 actual, whatever that means.
Yeah, this says 3 biological, 7 adopted, 10 total. But something else said 8 a second ago.
That's
so
what I thought I heard, that it was 10, but 7 of them were adopted.
No, that's what I feel like
I originally thought, yeah.
No, I think he said, that's what I'm recalling from the interview.
70% of my children are someone else's.
Yes, in the interview, I swore I heard
impressive.
10, but then after the fact, I started hearing like other numbers.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm recalling from the interview, also, it was 10, 7, and 3.
It also, like, even after all this, like, megalomania, if you will, right? He drops back into, this is what I do to try and support my family. Like, I have a job. Like, I have to take this serious. Like, it was all about that thing about writing material. He's like, these guys can get away with writing material that lasts 5 years. They'll travel the world a couple times over and give the same material. It's like, that's not me. He's like, any day of the week, I could be writing. I could be performing something new. I could, you know, this isn't, you know, write a show and live off the earnings for like the next 5 years. Like, no.
Well, I mean,
I can't be like that. I like what you were saying too. Like, I don't want to bring the same show to the same crowd.
Well, that's what he stated that with Netflix, they're now double digits in the millions. So he's like, you know, the base contract starts at 8 figures, which is 10 million. He's like, you know, with Netflix, it's just like, how many do you want to do? And he's like, well, shit, how many y'all want?
Do as many as you want, whatever.
Dude, and he's
as long
like,
as you understand my certain restrictions, you know.
Well, yeah, because he said 12. He's done 12 specials now or something like that, right? I think that's what it was.
But to the same thing, though, some of the stuff that he says will get him cut from things like Netflix. If he's doing the good,
No, it won't.
Maybe not.
No, if they're paying for that fucking contract, they're going to show it. They're going to make their money from it. It was the same thing with Chappelle,
like if
man.
Cancel culture existed on social media back when Chappelle's incident happened, it would have never happened.
I mean, that's a whole nother conversation to have, honestly.
It's possible.
Well, like everybody brings stuff back because they're like, nope, we want this back. We don't care what you exactly
I will
think.
say that
like,
this has brought about like a whole paradigm shift in how we as a generation get our news media. Because we came from, and that's we're kind of transitional. Like we came from a time where like, if you want to know something about what's going on around you, you got to watch the news at night.
Or read a paper.
Yeah, well, I feel like Chappelle would have been saved.
And the internets weren't built yet.
Fans.
When we were kids, you know what I'm saying? Like you had to actually look for, you had to seek out the news, but now it's everywhere. Now you're sourcing it yourself. Now if you're interested in it, you have to take a personal responsibility with it. You know, it's a whole different thing, and everything's accessible.
You agreed, but going to what JD was saying, dude, he I don't think the fans could have done anything because, Chappelle himself personally was at a place where he's like, deuces, I'm out. Like, I need to remove myself from this.
Yeah.
Same as Katt when he left his house at 13. He's like, you know what? This is the way shit is. He's like, I can't be a part of this.
I got to leave.
I got to go. Well, that's why I always said, man, it's like, dude, any situation, you got 3 choices. I can deal with it, try to change it, or just be like deuces and bounce. Chappelle tried to change it, didn't work. Tried to go along with it. That sure shit ain't going to work. So he's just like, sucker, say what?
What if you
kick rocks?
If you break it down into its simplest, like that's everything in your life could be looked at the same way. So,
you can either accept it and just be like, all right, fuck it. Or you can just be like, I feel like maybe or you can just be like, I'm gotta go.
I don't see it. I don't like it. I don't want it.
You're fired.
What?
But yeah, man, I mean, and again, like,
come on.
If all of the stuff that went down, all the things that he said, the position that he was on, and very much sticking to his guns of, I'm here to clear the air. I'm here to I'm here to right some wrongs, set the record straight, like all that kind of stuff. For him to be on that kind of a level, and again, personally, because it's just, I strive very much to be someone of his nature where I'm going to do my best to respond, not react. I'm going to do my best to be as impeccable or succinct as possible. I want to be short and to the point. I want to call it for what it is, even if it's a bad thing, or we can see it as a bad thing, or most would, or, whatever the perception is on it. Doesn't matter. This is what is. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. That's why I was like, most of what he said is just like, he's not wrong. Because of how he expressed it. It's just like he was as impeccable or succinct as possible. He was just like, this is what it is. This is where it's at. And he's like, and I have proof of this. But for him to cross that line a few times, again, if this is all I have negative to say about him and all of this, because agreed with you is, I always saw him as just like, he's a really good comedian. I've watched a couple of his specials. He cracks me up. Like, he was never somebody who was like big to me. But then after watching this, I'm like, fuck, I got to put this dude on my radar.
For real. I mean, I'm saying that was one of my biggest takeaways overall.
You agree.
Like that was an overall takeaway.
Well, just because he very much aligns with a lot of what we do. Because, I mean, just like I do that, you guys do that as well.
From everything to the way that he's very deep in his spirituality, but he's not religious. And that was one of the things that like I first grabbed onto when I started listening to his interview. And that was one of the things that made him break away from his family, because there were requirements or restrictions or whatever it was that
expectations.
There were expectations of him that he wasn't willing to. Even at that time, it was like, all right, that's going a bit too far.
Yeah, it didn't coincide with his soul, moral, and ethics.
So it's like, I mean, right off the bat with that, and it was kind of the way he laid it out over the rest of the conversation, like that. In a way, it was like, I said to you, there was certain talking points that I think he was going to cover, regardless of what the question was. It was going to end up covering certain topics that he had already picked out.
I would agree with you very much on that. Redirects. This is very this is very common in what we, politics speak, as we would say, is like you ask a politician a question and all of a sudden they're just like,
well, what you really want to know is.
And they find a way to redirect the conversation into their favor. He was solid at that, which to me goes to the point of crowd control. It really shows his level of ability, understanding, experience, knowledge, and his not only willingness, but exactingness in portraying all of that. Like, you can see there is a deliberate action behind his abilities.
I mean, he had been through a lot and seen a lot and had a lot of pain and had a lot of really weird experiences in doing what he went out on a limb and did at age 13 or whatever it was, that molded him to be, there's no other way to put it, just like an incredible, amazing human being. Like how, like to put yourself through all these, like all this, like, why would you move away from something that's like, you know, 3 meals a day and a place to sleep to, okay, now I got to figure everything out, even the basics. And it never even fazed him, like to go into that head on, just going, hey, I'll just spend my days at the library. I'll spend my nights over here. You know, I'll sleep where I can, make enough money to live. No big deal.
But see, and you know what? And when you said it in that fashion about, I mean, you more or less basically stated is you get, you know, 3 hots and a cot. You get breakfast.
Well, that's the basics of what he left.
Well, yeah, you get breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a roof over your head. Dude, there's people that go to jail just well enough that they get 3 hots in a cot because it's better than having to work. Or so like you do. That's
it's a shame where you'd rather be a part of the broken system than just.
But to me, that really shows how broken it is because you can have serial prisoners. And then you have these other cats that have, you know, non-violent federal offenses.
Well, that's where people try to, well, you know, this is a place where you find, you know, restoration, where you try to cleanse yourself of all the.
If like, it's truly rehabilitation,
not a cleansing experience. I'm sorry.
If it's truly rehabilitation, there would not be profit in it.
I mean, it's not gay while you're in prison. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I got friends. Just say that again, Jay.
And there wouldn't be so many repeat offenders.
You just spent 4 years in prison.
But dude, that's what I'm saying is you get the repeat offenders that perpetuate the cycle, but then you also have repeat offenders that abuse that cycle. They're going into, you know, county or whatever else. I mean, they're still a part of the system
anymore,
you know,
in a lot of ways. And I don't mean to like stir the pot here, but like you have more rights as a criminal in some ways these days than you do as a law-abiding citizen. Just as a criminal, period. You have an amazing amount of rights. You'd be impressed.
Oh, no. Trust me, I'm very aware. I'm very aware. I got friends.
I got friends in low places.
That's exactly what just went through my head.
Why gotta be low places? I mean, granted most of my friends like drive low riders and shit, but you know, that's
in both places, but I'm saying, you know.
That sounds racist, bro. I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
What about that had anything to do with how you
Nothing, that's why it's funny.
You're not
it's provocative and it makes people think.
No, it doesn't. It makes you look like an ass.
See, now that
was just hurtful.
That was intentional and misleading. Absolutely incorrect. You apologize, good sir.
No.
We need more tequila.
No.
Do we want reposado or silver? The silver's already cracked. I'm just makes it
breaking out the case.
I mean, yeah, I won't feel guilty about drinking up the silver if it's already cracked.
All right,
especially because it's silver. It's already.
You got to give me the other one. We got to trade. I got a swippy swappy with my flippy floppies.
For all of you not watching the visual, you could hear that nice slide. Did not make it to the goal line.
Oh, it's not even that I made it. It was also to the side of the goalpost.
8.5 degrees off.
About that, yeah. I feel like that's a fair and accurate statement on that. I mean, it's better than like in the old days.
Well,
when
I didn't want it to go off the edge, but you know, I'm not gonna.
Well, that's what I say, dude. Yeah, no, that's why it's not like, you know, in the Wild West, which you're just like.
I was never like a tapper.
What was that shit?
That was nice. The way it.
I, unlike you, was a bartender. Actually attended several
I
bars.
was quite
Thank
well
you.
at Tapper in the day.
Well, dude, bro, if I wanted a computer
I was
with
also
games,
sliding the brewskis down.
I invented Tapper.
no, if I wanted to like play video games and shit, I had to go to the fucking library because it was free there.
Oh, do you want me to Tapper that back to you? Or?
I mean,
I'll just put it to the middle.
Try.
Is this like shuffleboard?
again, Patron. Not saying
tequila.
you have to sponsor us, but you should totally sponsor us.
It's right there in the middle of the whole. We should just leave it there. Right?
Patron, if you sponsor them, us, they will get better
Them?
at this game.
Us. Who?
No, I mean, you will get better at this game.
Not him. That's not gonna. Nahin Najad.
Why is it so hard to say?
It's not.
Nahina? Najat.
Nahin Najad.
Nahina Najat. Man, that's not going to work here anymore anyway.
So I digress. Katt Williams.
Yes. Speaks the truth.
But dude, all right, you know, going to an
Unleashed. That was Katt Williams Unleashed was the name of it.
going to an earlier point you made, and I think this probably might have actually, I mean, honestly, I think at this point it probably was off camera. You had made point to the presentation and the atmosphere, like the overall ambiance of what that show was providing. But you know, between the host, how he spoke, the integrity that there seemed to be. So there was this ambiance to the presentation that they had that was a quality as well as as we do, an honesty to it. So you had made more or less, you had made comment into the fact of, it's like, you know what, dude, he was well presented. He was poignant. Like he was there. He was ready. Like he was very, but without being mechanical or structured.
Without being mechanical, but there was a definite, there was a need to say and get all certain things off of his chest. Like there was intent.
I'm talking about the I'm talking about the overall atmosphere of what was presented as a show coming from Club Shay Shay. Not doing this as an interview, but literal like. So you would, and that's again, I think I'm very certain this was off camera.
Yeah,
but
what was it?
You were more or less pointing to the fact of, it's just like, you know, he was intelligent, he was capable. It's like, this is an appropriate host. Like this is a performance. This is a moment, an experience where it's like, dude, there's direct, deliberate intention of presenting a proper product while still being in the moment.
What I was really pointing out was the fact that in kind of the same way that we do, like, this isn't an interview. We don't do interviews. And I kind of like when he came out and said that. He's like, I'm not a reporter. This is not an interview. This is a conversation. And I was like, that's totally what we try to do. It's like,
whoa. No,
I'm not
redacted. That is totally
Not try.
what we do. Thank you, JD. Dick.
bro.
See, you get me.
Rewind. And spit it out right.
I mean, a compass sometimes bounces a little too far. I mean, it's okay.
What is this, Pong?
It's looking for that.
Boonk.
I wasn't trying to say one thing or another. It's just working on the nature of things. It's just fuck off.
Dude, there is no try. There is only do.
There is that too.
There is only that.
We don't try to have conversations. We have conversations.
Yeah, whether the mics and cameras and shit are on or not, man, we talk, people. We talk.
There is never only that.
You should do it as well. Matter of fact, pause us. Talk to the person next to you. Maybe give them a high five.
Something to think about. Everything.
And if you're alone,
includes
give
nothing.
us a high five.
Do self five.
Huh?
I self five all the time.
She
said she would. I rectified.
Did you just sigh and lower your eyes when I said that?
Wait, what? No, I was talking about self five. If there was a reaction, it was to her, not to you.
No, it's all right. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
No, I did.
I thought so. I mean, just fess up, man. It's not a problem.
No, again, the first one, if you perceived was unintentional. The second one, I meant it.
That's why we're friends.
You get me. You get me.
Oh,
But I digress. So Katt Williams.
oh, for fuck's sake.
Again, for Katt Williams. What is going on here?
I don't even know.
So Katt Williams.
So I watched an interview with Ice Cube after.
Oh, I mean, not to sidetrack because I totally want to hear that. We never really got your takeaways from the interview, but you know, so aftermath, you watched additional interviews. Go.
With
Ice Cube.
I watched one with Ice Cube, and then I watched one with Ricky Smiley, and it was both post what Katt Williams interview. So it was after they had watched it, and this is like what they had to say.
So this wasn't a Club Shay Shay. This was almost like a response.
This was just they posted their own
reaction in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Go.
So Ice Cube basically said that everything that Katt Williams said was true, except for one thing.
A minor detail.
He said that they weren't going to show. He did not say that there wasn't going to be a rape in the movie. He just said that they weren't going to show it on camera, or it would have been done tastefully.
It was implied.
So
hold on. There's no way, people at home, PSA, there is no way to do rape tastefully. Sorry, Ice Cube.
There's no way to make it funny.
There's also that too.
But I mean, like, it would have been more insinuated or whatever, but not physically shown, I guess, was the argument of the only thing that Katt Williams said.
So there would have been like implication and alluding to enough reference that your mind wanders to that. Which who wants to think about rape,
Katt
bro?
said about that movie, the people in it, the situations, and how he defended ICE when somebody else said that he wasn't paying people, or they didn't think he was getting paid enough, or whatever the case was. Everything that he said, ICE said was true,
including how Puff Daddy wants to do people in the butt.
I mean, everything.
I don't know if.
I mean, he said that.
Everything to do with him in the movie. I don't know if, it had to do with the movie specifically. Right. He could only speak on, his.
Right. I get that. No, because I mean, personally, out of that interview.
Speak for we can't confirm or deny.
Disclaimer, yeah. No. Honestly, that was one of the points where it was one of those things that I had heard him say that I'm just like, it makes sense. That sounds accurate. So, no. That's why I was like...
And Ricky Smiley.
Looking for verification.
His response, he was kind of like caught off. He was like, well, I didn't know he didn't like me like that or something like along those lines. And he's like, well, if he ever wants to get together, we can have a conversation.
Well, because think about this. The likelihood is when he went in to read for a character, the studio pitched him. It's just like, I'm going to tell you, this character is amazing. Here's the deal. If you had a dress, oh my God. And he's just like, oh, this is a great idea. No, it was because Katt put it in the contract and the studio had to sell him on it. So he's unaware of that in that sense because he's just like, oh, this is a great idea. This is comic genius. No, this is retaliatory, bro.
This is your comeuppance.
Pretty much.
And hold on, Ice Cube did have one other point as far as Katt writing all the lines and stuff like that. He said that there were lines written, but they would let certain actors ad-lib go on, but as long as they were giving them what they wanted, they would just let them do their thing. And Katt was one of those people that he let do his thing.
He wrote that character. That's all he acclaimed, was that if it wasn't for him, that character wouldn't have the wardrobe, wouldn't have the...
Well, yeah, the car, the wardrobe, attitude. The presence. Oh, yeah, basically, yeah, he wrote
He does that with every movie, too. he immerses himself into like
As
the
well you should.
wardrobe, the character,
actor.
the
That was one of its
everything.
comments about the mainstream comic is that they're not as versatile. They can't do what I do.
They can't do what I do.
They can't do what I do.
Dude, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying that was.
But anyway, I think it's getting pretty late. I gotta wake up super early tomorrow. So I don't mean to be weird, but
Read the room, bro. Wow. You know what that is?
it's the world's smallest
Oh, I
violin.
hear it.
Playing a sad, sad song. Sad, sad song.
It's beautiful yet somber.
I love the fact that you just used somber. That was.
Somber.
She gets me. I said it.
Okay. That's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
You think I'm a cockroach?
Another quaload.
Yeah, no, go on.
She'll love me in the morning.
I do love me some Scarface.
On that note,
But yeah, no, hey, Gemini's calling it.
I mean, it is. It's.
We're done skis. We gotta shorten this. It is time to go now, Mac.
I was just.
Wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up, B.
I don't know if we could wrap it up, B. Which sucks because we didn't even get to freaking JD's takeaways, man. You totally took that from her. You took away her takeaways.
Yeah, honestly, there's enough stuff here. We could do a part 2.
I would say honestly, that's what we kind of do here.
So
I'm gonna take away your takeaways. I'm sorry about that, but you know, hey, shit
do
happens.
a whole nother thing if you want.
No, we can't because it's
You
not.
want some more? Number 2.
Comment below.
We'll revisit this,
Fill that in. Oh yeah.
and I'll shut the fuck up. And
There's
I'll,
also like credits running probably right now.
right now. Yeah. That's,
I forgot I had a dog in this
is anybody
room.
still watching? Right
I
now?
forgot I had to do. Is that a euphemism or an innuendo, or a euphemism for an innuendo?
It's a reality.
It's real.
To bring this back really quick, but as always, right? I mean,
He's trying to wrap this shit up. Wrap it up.
we can continue, but we need a proper,
Same bat time, same bat
bat
channel. Yeah, no, you can just click the button. Just it's
love yourself, love others.
Might be something here. There may be something here. I don't know where. It's just the credits are
do
still
what
running.
you do, be you, be love.
No, it's be good to yourself.
That's what it is.
Be good to everything else.
See, that's why only you can do it. You bring it like only you can.
No. We all, you, all of yous. Be good to yourself. Be good to everything else.
Much love.
Peace. Peace.
Face.
That was so anticlimactic.
Love you, Danger Mouse. I just
You just can't go. You just can't go right in there.
can't go right in there. What are you,
I mean, sometimes that works,
what are
but
you thinking?
you
You want to put it in disco mode?
no,
and you-
no. There's no.
Oh, okay.
Not
What's my
tonight.
buttons?
Not tonight. Well, I mean, they are your buttons, but not not tonight on the
You just
disco.
decide when they're mine and when they're not.
No, on the disco. No disco.
This was the responsibility that I was allowed. Right here. Oh, see,
This is why we can't have nice things.
take 2. All right. Moving right along.